what's going on, everybody? Commander Crane here, and we are back with another Pioneer Showdown. I think this is episode 6. I think it's number 6.
It's getting there, yeah. It's getting up there.
I'm pretty sure it's number 6. So, I'm here with Hunter today. How's it going, Hunter?
Goes good. How about you?
I'm great, because we are going to play some Paper Magic. So, all right. Obviously, you saw the thumbnails, but we're going to talk about our decks a little bit for what we're playing. So, Hunter, what are you playing today?
We are going to be playing Mono Red Devotion. So I know Mono Green Devotion is like the big, bad, scary deck of Pioneer, but Nykthos is still a fun card to play with, so we're just going to be playing like Goblin Chain Whirlers, Torbrands, Eidolons, Burning Trees to like get a lot of mana pips on the field for Devotion, and then the kill is with Fanatic of Mogus.
Fanatic of Mogus is a pretty busted card, especially in the right shell, which obviously this is definitely the shell for that. So, okay, all right, sounds awesome. I'm going to be playing Gruul Werewolves today. So, I did a poll before recording this episode, and essentially it came down to whatever won the poll I was going to play. Well, come to find out, the Colorless Eldrazi deck and the Gruul Werewolves had an exact tie. So I had to come up with, you know, like, all right, well, what am I going to play? And I ultimately decided to do the Werewolves because we featured Simic Eldrazi a couple months ago. So I'm like, yeah, we've already seen Eldrazi, but we haven't seen Werewolves yet. So that's why we were playing the Werewolf deck today.
Also, on that note, Werewolves is also in the spirit of Halloween.
Oh, I actually didn't even think about that.
This is being recorded before Halloween as we are doing this, so it will be for the spirit of the holiday.
So what you're telling me is for Christmas we're doing Tree Folk. Okay, all right. So we're going to go ahead and jump up for game 1. We're playing 4 games today. I always forget to mention that at the beginning. We're going to play 2 pre-boarded games and 2 post-boarded games, and we'll catch you for game 1. Alrighty, so we are ready for game number 1. Hunter, how's your hand looking?
Looking pretty good. We got some lands, I got some spells, got a Chain Whirler, got a Nykthos, so it looks like we're going to be in the hot seat.
Okay, alright. I've got a pretty good hand, actually. I got a 1-drop, a 2-drop. I actually got 2 2-drops, a 3-drop, and some lands. So, I mean, we've got enough. We got to roll for initiative here.
I was just going to say that.
Right. There's a 6.
Pretty average.
You get a 4? Oh, that's not a 4.
That is me taking the play.
Okay, alrighty. Go and start us off.
I'm going to start us off with a mountain, and I'm going to pass.
Rookie mistakes.
I don't think I play any 1-drops in this deck.
All right, I'm going to play a Kessig Prowler.
2-1.
I'm going to pass.
All right, I'm going to
Kessig Prowler, man. These have been in my good common, uncommon boxes for years. Never actually played them.
I'm going to play Ramunap Ruins and pass.
Oh, we're going to get him here. All right. Well, I'm going to play this mountain. I've got quite a few different options here to what I could do. Let's see. We could do this. I could meme and play this. I think this is my best option here. I'm going to do this. I'm going to play a Kessig Naturalist, and it is now day.
It is daytime.
And then I'm going to move to combat.
Yeah.
Take 2.
I'm going to be at 18.
Okay, go ahead.
On your end step, I would like to stomp your Kessig Naturalist.
Nah, more like not stonk.
Stomp it, boy. I'm going to draw for turn. Well, yeah, we're going to play Ramunap Ruins. I'm going to go to 16 to pay for red with Ramunap Ruins. I'm going to play a Goblin Chain Whirler, deal 1 to everything on the board.
Bye-bye, Kiss Prowler.
I'm going to go ahead and pass.
Alrighty, I'm going to draw. I'm going to play my Copperline Gorge. A couple different options here. I think I'm just going to go ahead and play Tovolar, Dire Overlord, and I'm going to pass. It's definitely a reader. I'll make sure to leave extra time for the audience too to read that. So it's the back is essentially the same as the front, except it gets Kessig Wolf Run, and it's a little bit bigger.
And it's bigger. What is the red and green are supposed to be? They're able to draw cards. This isn't.
I know this is what is this?
This isn't cool. So I think to save me some damage, I'm gonna activate Nykthos with the colorless from Ramunap Ruins for 3, and we're gonna tap 4. And we are going to play Torbrand, Thran of Redfell.
That's gross.
It's pretty decent. And I think we're just going to pass here, to be honest.
All right. So I'm going to draw. I don't have 2 or more or 3 or more wolves or werewolves. Let's see here. I think we got quite a few different options here. Says me. Because I could do this. Could also do this. Let's go ahead and play a Carpusian Forest.
Carpusian Forest.
I'm going to start us off here with a Ranger class.
It's been a minute since that card.
Yeah, all right. So it is currently level 1. Black dice for that. And then when it enters, I make a wolf.
Oh.
All right, so I could level us up here, which I think I'm going to probably not do that because of the fact that your Chain War is essentially a 5/5 first striker now. So it's not really going to do too much for me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 1, go to 18, and I'm going to play a Werewolf Pack Leader.
Yeah, that's a big boy.
And I'm going to pass you.
Well, I am going to untap and draw for turn. That was not the worst draw.
But it wasn't the best.
Unfortunately, it might have been the best draw, actually. We're going to activate Nykthos for 6. And then we're going to
I feel like I know what card you're about to cast.
play a Nykthos, sacrifice that. Use 1, activate Nykthos for 6 to go to 11.
I feel like it's a Shatter Skull and you're going to wreck my board.
I'm going to cast the Bone Daddy, and then, yeah, we're going to Shatter Skull and deal 3 and 3.
That's
okay.
Yep, we're done there. I kind of figured it was Shatter Skull, and I knew in the back of my mind, if you have Shatter Skull, like, I'm just, like, absolutely dead there. There's a couple different avenues I could have taken, and, like, instead of the Kessig Naturalist, I could have played the Werewolf Pack Leader, which, not that it would have mattered, because I wouldn't have been able to attack with it into the Goblin Chain Whirler or whatever. So, there was kind of not too much I could do on that one.
Yeah, no, unfortunately I did draw the Shatter Skull off the top. I did have 2 Fanatics in my hand, but...
Right. Okay, all right, well, we're going to go ahead and shuffle up for game 2, and we'll see you in just a second. Alrighty, so we are back for game number 2. I got my ass kicked, so I am going to take the play on this one. How's your hand looking?
It's looking kind of light. It's a little hand heavy, but we're just going to run with it and see what happens.
All right, my hand's a little bit slower than last time, but I mean, it's still about roughly the same. So, okay, all right, well, I'm going to start us off with a tap, snap around, and pass.
Oh, you sure you don't want to shock that in?
If I had a 1-drop, I would.
Oh, I'm going to play a mountain and pass. Me and my no 1-drops deck.
All right. I'm going to transform this into a Timber Crown Pathway. And then I'm going to play Werewolf Pack Leader. I'm going to pass.
That's pretty good. Another draw. I'm going to play land and pass.
All right, I'm going to draw. So, oh, wow. This is actually going to be a really good combo here. I'm going to play another Timber Crown Pathway.
Not Restless Stormseeker.
Oh, yeah. Stormseeker. So it is day. And then I'm going to move to combat.
Yep.
I'm going to give this haste. I'm going to attack for 6, which triggers Pack Tactics. And I'm going to go ahead and draw a card.
Yeah.
And I'm going to pass.
Seems alright. Oh, another land is not what we wanted to see. Well, we're just going to play a Chain Whirler.
19.
Go ahead.
Alright, we definitely need a land here. And we got it. So I'm going to go to 17. And what do I want to do here? I think, because I'm a pro gamer specifically, I think what I want to do is go ahead and play a Night Pack Ambusher for not haste. Well, not flash. And then I'm going to move to combat.
Yep.
I'm going to target Reckless Stormseeker. I'm going to target Night Pack Ambusher. And then I'm going to attack for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And I'm going to trigger Pack Tactics on Werewolf Pack Leader. So I'm going to draw a card.
Yeah, it's pretty good draw. Which, unfortunately, I think I was too slow to beat with not
this is like
anything to do.
This is like the perfect start, I would say. I mean, really couldn't have gotten better than this.
Don't know. We're just going to take 12. Go to 2.
Okay, go ahead.
I unfortunately need this Chain Whirler to do anything this turn.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So you'd be at 3.
3.
Yeah. I think I might have counted this getting +1/+1.
We do that.
See, Nightbake Ambusher has haste, but I think a lot of the time you don't really... In this deck, I don't think you really play it with Flash. Like, it's a thing, but especially if you're attacking, you're just playing it.
That is true. Yeah, I don't think there's anything I want to be able to do to start class, unfortunately. Yeah.
Wow, okay. Oh, that's... maybe that's how these games are going to go. Like, one person just makes the other person just look very, very silly. So
yeah, I just, like... I didn't even have a Bone Crusher or nothing, and...
I think these are... So, like, in, like, real time, like us actually recording these in between takes, I think those are the 2 fastest game 1s and 2s I think we've ever had.
Probably.
Like that was, like, really, really, really fast. So, okay, all right, well... 2 games are over. We're going to go ahead and start some sideboarding here. We will catch up with you in just a second. Alrighty, so we are back with sideboarding here. So we're going to kind of talk about what we're bringing in, what we're taking out, and why. Hunter, I'm going to have you start us off. What are you bringing in, what are you taking out?
I'm going to bring in 1 Chandra Flamecaller, 2 Roast, and 2 Obliterating Bolt. Just something like... in my mind, when I go up against, like, other, like, low-to-the-ground aggro decks and stuff, like, I'm a mid-range deck that doesn't have a lot of 2-drops and no 1-drops, so I can't really fight in the early game well. So I'm going to try to shift more towards having a little bit more interaction, and the Chandra being, like, a back-half finisher for against the creature decks, because it can, like, wipe the board, draw me cards. I'm going to take out the 2 Annex, the Chandra, and the 2 Glorybringers, just because, like, unfortunately, I had to do some trimming for these cards, and I really want all the other cards in my deck, so it wasn't like these are bad in the matchup. It's just everything else is really, really good with Nixthos, with all the devotion that they give, so I kind of want to keep the rest of my stuff in.
That makes sense. I think for especially this matchup, I think you're like, I just want to control the board, and then I probably only need like 1 to 2 threats to really like close out the game. So I could definitely understand that, which, you know, obviously Roast, Obliterating Bolt, fantastic. You know, really against any aggro deck, like, they're just fantastic.
Yeah, they're always have been solid removal cards for any red deck you play, so pick these cards up.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're good.
So, okay, all right. So, my sideboarding's pretty simple here. I'm bringing in 2 Witchstalker Frenzy. This is kind of a new card I'm still kind of, like, playing with from Eldraine. I think this card's very powerful. I used to play Roast in this slot, but I'm trying out the Witchstalker Frenzies just because... it's instant speed. We also low-key have a lot of spirits here in our local metagame, so I want to make sure I can hit creatures with flying, so that also kind of double dips a little bit there. And then I'm also bringing in 2 Klothys, God of Destiny. This is, like, I feel like one of the cards that everybody knows I play for. It's just fantastic. You know, in a grindy matchup, this card does so much. I mean, really, there's nothing I can say that hasn't already been said. I'm taking out my 4 Kessig Naturalist. I think it's the weakest card in this matchup. It's hard for it to transform. It dies to Stomp. It doesn't get bigger than, like, Chain Whirler. I think it's just the worst card. I want to have a 1-drop. I think the 1-drops are a little bit more valuable than these are, for the most part. I want to have a 1-drop on turn 1. Turn 2, I can play Werewolf Pack Leader or a Ranger class, which I think is just better than the Kessig Naturalist as a whole in the matchup overall. So that's pretty easy on my end here. So, okay, all right, we're going to go ahead and shuffle up for game number 3, and we'll see you in just a second. Alrighty, so we are back for game number 3. Hunter is on the play. How's your hand looking?
It's looking kind of medium, but I've got some dudes, I've got some lands, so hopefully we can make something out of it.
Okay, fair enough. My hand's looking all right. It needs a little bit of help, but if we get that help, I think we're looking pretty good overall. So, all right. You can go ahead and start us off.
I have beginning of game actions.
Rip.
We're going to put a Leyline of Combustion onto the battlefield.
Hot.
And then we're going to play a Shatterskull Smashing tapped and pass.
All right, I'm going to draw. I'll go ahead and play a Copperline Gorge, and I'm going to play our Ascendant Pack Leader. Go ahead.
That is pretty decent. We're going to untap and draw.
I think that's the first one we played this game so far.
I do believe so. I'm going to play a land for turn. I'm going to pass.
It's that pro gamer energy, you know. Alrighty. So, I'm just going to go ahead and move to combat.
Yep.
I'll
be at 18.
Okay. 18. And then I'm going to play a Carplusion Forest. I'm going to take 1. I'm going to play Werewolf Pack Leader.
I figured you would be.
Go ahead.
On your end step, we're going to go ahead and stomp the 2-1.
Yeah. This card is just like...
Untap
it's funny, with Werewolves itself, like, as like a creature-type matters deck, isn't super good, but there's a lot of, like, cards that are just, like, also Wolves and Werewolves. They're actually pretty good.
Yeah,
like, you're just playing just good cards that also happen to have some synergy.
I think we're just gonna go ahead and throw out the Bone Crusher here and pass.
The Bone Father. All right, I'm gonna draw. I'm gonna play this Mutavault. That's a special tool we'll use for later. And then I'm gonna go ahead and tap 3. I'm gonna play a Reckless Stormseeker.
Yep.
We got the combo. So I think I don't really want to trade with the Bone Crusher Giant, but I think it's what we need to do. So I'm gonna move to combat.
Yep.
I'm gonna trigger this on attack for 6, and then I'm gonna draw a card off Pack Tactics.
All right. What do I fear more here? So if you have a good 4-drop, you can give it haste with Stormseeker. I think we're going to go ahead and block the Stormseeker and take 3.
Alrighty. So you're at 15, and then it's your go.
I'm going to untap and draw. You would have been good some number of turns ago. So we're just going to go ahead and play Goblin Chain Whirler.
Yeah, I'm at 18.
I will pass.
Okay, I'm going to tap this, and I'm going to draw. That was certainly an interesting draw. What do I want to do here? I've got a couple different options I could. Unfortunately, that first strike is mildly annoying.
It's relevant, unfortunately.
So, So I could do this. Okay, I think I'm gonna do that. So, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna take 1, and I'm going to play another Werewolf Back Leader.
All right.
And then I'm gonna go ahead and play Copperline Gorge tapped, and I'm going to pass to you.
Well, I'm going to untap and draw. I'm going to... Oh yeah, obviously we're going to play the land return. I think here... And I apologize for this. I thought I had more. I only had the 2. This is going to be an Eidolon of the Great Rebel. Stonks. And we're just going to go ahead and pass back.
All right, I'm going to draw again. Can't believe I drew another one of those. I'm going to play a Sokensian. So that's something. Okay, I got a couple different options here what I could do. I think the best option here is, though, I'm going to think. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and play a Reckless Stormseeker. I'm gonna go ahead and take. I think do I take 4 from that?
No, because you have to target something with this.
Okay.
So you'll take 2 from this.
So
though.
I'll go to 15, and then I'm going to die. No, I'm just kidding. But I am gonna take 2 damage here because I'm going to play a Moonlight Hunt. Actually, I don't know if this targets it. Oh, yeah, 2-star creature you don't control. So, 2-star creature you don't control, and then each creature you control that's a wolf or werewolf deals damage equal to its power to that creature.
That's gross.
So, I'm going to target Chain Whirler. So, I'll take
4?
I'll take, yep, so I'll go to 11, right?
Yes.
Yep, okay. And then I'm going to kill your homeboy.
That's very annoying.
Okay, and then I'm going to move to combat.
Yeah.
I'm going to target Reckless Stormseeker, and I'm going to attack for 9, and then I have 2 Pack Tactics triggers. I'm going to draw 2 cards.
Yeah, you can go ahead and draw 2 cards. Let's see here. Man, oh man. I unfortunately think that I just kind of have to take 9 here.
I love it. All right, and I'm going to go and pass to you.
On your end step... Yeah. On your end step, I'm going to stomp you and take 2.
All right, I'm going to go to 9.
Let's untap and draw. Boo, that's not what we wanted to see. Man, I can get you to 2. I needed the Nykthos this turn.
Nykthos Shrine to Nyx. Powerful card.
Well, I suppose we still just do all of this anyways. We're just going to play a Fanatic Amogus and deal you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, I'm going to go 4.
Go ahead.
Okay. All right. I'm going to untap, draw. Good draw. Not in the moment, though. So I think what I'm going to do is I can only cast 1 spell. Or at least one that is of value. So I think it's pretty simple here. I think I'm just going to go ahead and tap. Let's see, how do I do this? I think I just go 1. Right? I think I just do this. Just going to go ahead and play a Werewolf Pack Leader. So I'm going to take 2. And then I'm going to go ahead and crew up the Mutavault.
Yep.
And I'm going to attack.
Yep.
Yeah, that was... I had turn 2 Werewolf Pack Leader into Reckless Stormseeker. It was actually crazy. I didn't originally have a second green source to play in my opening hand. And then my first draw was a Copperline Gorge, which was huge. And I also needed the 3rd land as well, so that was like pretty much the best land that I actually could have drawn there, which was handy for me anyways.
Yeah, unfortunately drawing the Stomps was not good enough to interact with your creatures, and not drawing the namesake card Nykthos was just devastating.
Right,
If I had the Fanatics in my hand for a while, if I would have drawn the Nykthos to abuse the Chain Whirler while he was on there, I would have been able to put more pressure on the board, but there was just nothing I could do on that.
Right, so, okay, all right, well, we're going to go ahead and shuffle up for game number 4, and we will see you in just a second. Alrighty, so we are back for our final game here. Hunter, you're on the play. How's your hand looking?
It's looking decent. I have 2 Nykthos, so I'm hoping to draw a different land to go with my other mountain to do some stuff. Otherwise, I do have some good interaction for hopefully later in the game.
Okay, fair enough. My hand is looking all right. I would say it's by default the weakest hand I've had so far, but like all of my opening hands have actually been pretty all right. So you're going to go ahead and start us off here.
I'm going to play Mountain and Pass.
I'm going to draw, and we drew a 1-drop. Fantastic. Go ahead.
All right.
It's probably going to get stomped, but here we are.
Yes, it is. Go ahead.
All right, I'm going to draw. I'm going to go ahead and play Copperline and play Werewolf Pack Leader. I'll pass to you.
Yep, 1 tap and draw. And it's not the land I wanted, but I guess it's the land I deserve. We're going to go to 17 for the Shatter Skull Smashing untapped, and we're going to play Bone Daddy. Go ahead.
All right. I'll go ahead and draw. Got a couple different options here. I think I'm going to go ahead and start us off, though, by moving to combat.
Yep.
Attack for 3.
I'm going to go ahead and take 3.
Okay.
I'm going to go to 14.
Alrighty. And then second main phase, I'm going to play Mutavault. And I'm going to go ahead and play a Klothys. God of Destiny. Go ahead.
I'm going to untap and draw. Okay. Oh, let's see. What can we do here?
Old Klothys.
Suppose we're going to play this land. Going to tap 2 and play a Burning Tree Emissary.
Oh god, he found the line.
Make a green and
draw
a red.
the 2 drops.
Yeah. We're going to activate Nykthos with the 2 mana from BCE and make 3 red. We're going to tap the mountain, and I'm going to play a Torbran Thane of Red Fell.
Torbran!
And we're going to attack you for essentially 6.
Yeah, we go to 14.
I'm going to pass.
Alright, untap. Draw. Well, I got a little punished for not making a different decision, but I am going to trigger Klothys. I'm going to exile my Kessig Prowler.
Seems pretty good.
I'm going to gain 2 and you're going to lose 2, so I'm going to go to 16.
Prefer that didn't happen, but, you know, this is where we're at. You found the line. Life gain too strong.
Alright, I'm going to go ahead and play a Timbercrown Pathway. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and tap 2. I'm going to play another Werewolf Pack Leader.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
And, man, we were so close. But unfortunately, if I would have not played the Mutavault the last turn, we would have been in really good shape. But, regardless of that, I'm going to go ahead and move to combat.
Yep. And
I'm going to attack for 3.
I'm just going to take 3 here and go to 9. Wherever it is on this guy. There we go.
Okay. And I got a couple different options of what I could do here. But I think to be safe, I guess a couple again. I could do that. This is interesting for sure. I think we gotta cut your devotion off a little bit. So I'm just gonna tap 2, and I'm gonna play Moonlight Hunt. I'm actually gonna target your Burning Tree Emissary.
Sure.
Just to get the devotion down. And then I'm gonna pass.
All right, well, I'm going to...
Actually, hold up. Is it... You don't... Each creature you control... Okay, I was thinking this part covered... I'm actually gonna hit your Tor brand.
Oh, that's cheating.
Yeah. No, I was thinking it was like the number, and I forgot it was the power, so I'm gonna go ahead and pass.
Draw. That was a spicy draw. I think we... So that nets us 3 mana.
Yeah, I was thinking it was like the number of werewolves. I always forget that it's the power.
That is kind of hot.
Is it like a pun because it's like a red card, or?
A little bit. Still only that many. So I think we still probably just do it that way. Yeah. I'm gonna tap 4. I'm gonna play a Chandra Torch of Defiance. And then I think what I'm gonna do is... Man, decisions.
Also, if it's hard to see, that is actually a San Diego Comic-Con promo Chandra. So if it looks a little different, that's why.
I think we do it this way. We're going to tick up and add 2 red to the mana pool. I'm going to play a Nykthos and sacrifice a Nykthos. I'm going to activate a Nykthos for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mana. I'm going to play a Fanatic of Mogus, and I'm going to deal you 6.
2, 4, 5, 6, yep. All right, I'm at 10.
And I'm going to just pass the turn.
10. There we go. Okay. All right, I'm going to untap. I'm going to draw a card. I'm going to trigger Klothys. I don't think I want mana. I think I'm just going to go eat your Torbrand. So I'm going to go to 12, and you're going to go to 7. I'm going to go ahead and play another Timber Crown Pathway here. I think I'm going to start... I got a couple different options here, honestly. Let's see, because I'm at 12. You're at a bunch. So I could go with this and that. Actually, I like that. I'm going to go ahead and play another Werewolf Pack Leader.
That's a lot of pack leaders.
Klothys is online now. And then I'm going to tap 1 and not do that. Actually, yeah, we'll go ahead and we'll do it. We're YOLOing at this point. So I'm going to go ahead and play that. And then I'm going to go ahead and... I don't think I want to activate Mutavault because it'll just eat it with the Bone Crusher Giant. So it's not a fantastic play. So I guess what I'm going to do is I'm going to move to combat.
Yep.
And I'm going to go ahead and attack for...
A lot?
A lot. I'm all attacking you, by the way. So this is 10. And then I have 2 Pack Tactics triggers.
All right, so I suppose we are going to just block like... Yeah, we're just going to block like this.
Yep, okay. So these will die, those will die, and you won't take any damage. Klothys is off line. And I got nothing else. Go ahead.
We're going to untap and draw. Well, I suppose we're going to play a land. I'm going to take up Chandra and add 2 red to my mana pool. I'm going to tap these, and I'm going to play Chandra Flamecaller.
Nice.
And we are
I haven't seen that Chandra in so long.
And I'm going to -3 and deal X damage to each creature. So I'm going to deal 3 damage to each creature.
Yikes!
And I am going to pass the turn.
Alright. Untap. Draw. Cloth this trigger. That's hilarious. I actually drew that the turn after I needed. So, I'm going to go ahead. We'll eat the Fanatic Amogus. I don't think it matters too much, but you'll take 2. I got you here. I got you 5. And then I'm going to go ahead and play a Mutavault. So, a couple different options I could do here. You got no cards in hand?
No cards.
So, I mean, I could get you to be... so, I think actually... I don't think I can kill you. So, I can activate the Mutavault, and then I can activate the Lair. This is for 4. So, I think the best call is to just do that. Did I play a land this turn? Oh, yeah, I played the Mutavault. I played the other Mutavault this turn. Or did I play it last turn? I don't remember. Well, because nope, that was in my hand. I played that. Okay. So I guess what I'll do is I'll go ahead and I will attack Chandra for 2, and then I will attack you for 2 as well.
All right. Go to 3.
And I'm going to go ahead and pass.
Untap and draw. Oh, that is a tiny bit awkward.
You need a Blood Sun.
Yeah. I needed to draw the cards that I had in a different order in order to win this game. You drawn all of your pack leaders.
Dude,
like every game has been pretty fucking rough too.
Pack leader definitely showed off its strength in this entire video. I mean, pack leader has been insanely powerful.
So now if I do that, he just does that. And that doesn't get me anywhere. Well, I suppose we're gonna take up Chandra and exile the top card. That is an Eidolon of the Great Revel, which I suppose I am going to cast. And then we're going to activate Nykthos for 4 and play a Torbran.
Yeah.
And pass the turn.
Alrighty. Untap, draw, cloth this trigger. I'll go ahead and eat your Chandra. So I'll go to 16, you go to 1. I think it's pretty simple here. I think we just activate Mutavault, and then we will activate Lair for 2. That's it. Wow, that was definitely a weird match that we had. A lot of cards that I feel like on both sides that we didn't expect to be as powerful, I feel like really kind of showed off a little bit, which was, I don't know, it was definitely very interesting. So, okay, all right, well, we're going to go ahead and we're going to get ready for the post game, which don't click off the video. So with the post games discussion, we're going to kind of talk about the match a little bit, how the decks fare overall in the metagame or would fare in the metagame, and that if there's a reprinted card that's not currently in the format, or if a hypothetical card was printed that would kind of push our decks a little bit further ahead of the metagame. So, okay, we're going to go ahead and de-sideboard here. We'll see you in just a second. Alrighty, so we are back for the post-match analysis. Before we hop into it here, I just remembered this as we were sideboarding. So in the second game, when I attacked with the pack leader, well, the ambusher, the pack leader, and the Stormseeker, and we're like, oh, you should have taken 1 less damage. We figured it out. That 1 damage actually did count because it was with the Reckless Stormseeker's triggered ability. So we forgot that. So anybody who already commented that before getting to this point in the video, you deserve the right to be tormented in the comment section below. So we had to start off with that real quick. So, okay, all right. So post-match analysis. So obviously we're going to talk about kind of how the match went overall, you know, the winners and the losers of the match, you know, in terms of the cards. And then we'll kind of talk about how the decks fare in the metagame, as well as any cards that would definitely help boost our deck. So I'll go ahead and let you start, Hunter.
I suppose things didn't really look super great. I only got to do the thing with the Nykthos deck one time. I think the real big issue is that this is probably the worst feeling casting Bonecrusher Giants has ever been for me.
Yeah,
because
seriously.
When you had like all of the few different games with all the pack leaders, like there was just no real interaction that I could do with them, and especially not drawing like any of my sideboard stuff. But it's really hard for the red devotion deck to be super good without sacrificing your devotion like strategy for interactive spells. Like the reason the green devotion deck is really good is because they can go turn 1 elf, and if you don't do anything, they just start playing 3 and 4 drops. And I start on a 2-drop for the most part in this deck. So that's where the deck can get a little rough. It's still a lot of fun. I was actually playing it on Arena yesterday, and it was doing some pretty fun things. Overall in the meta, probably like tier 2.5. Like not anything solid, but you could probably cheek out a couple of wins with a good draw at your local F&M with it.
Oh, that's fair. So the one thing I thought of just now was like, I think overall, like, Bonecrusher Giant is a better card than the card I'm going to name, but I feel like the difference between, like, 2 and 3 was huge in this matchup. Like, imagine if the Bonecrushers were, like, Strangles or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, if you had Strangles, I think that's, like, a completely different match, because, so normally with aggro matchups, like, the Stomp, like, 2 damage is enough to kill, like, most of the problematic, you know, it kills, like, Thalias, and it kills, like, Spirit, like, smaller spirits and stuff, but, like, the 2/3, like not having an instant speed 3 damage was huge. Like Lightning Strike itself almost would have been better. So it's like Bonecrusher's such a good card, but I completely agree. There's those matchups where you don't actually kill anything with Stomp, and it just feels like a not great card.
Yeah, I guess there could be an argument for, instead of playing 22 lands and 4 Shatter Skull Smashing, to maybe play 24 lands and then maybe find a way to fit in like a couple of real removal spells in there somewhere. There's definitely an argument for that in there, but maybe like cutting the Glory Bringers off the top end and the Shatter Skulls for 2 lands and like some extra stuff, maybe be a little more low to the ground. But that's all stuff and testing. This is actually a list that I got from Saffron Olive played with MTG Goldfish once. And
shout
this is just the exact list. Yeah, shout out.
So, okay, fair enough. So, at least for the match over here, so obviously, game 1, you did exactly what you wanted to do. You turn 2, you killed my dude. Turn 3, you played the Chain Whirler and incidentally killed another dude, but you were able to get your devotion up. Then Torbrand came out, right? It was Torbrand, and then you were like Shatter Skull for 1 million.
Yeah.
So, like, and assuming the game would have kept going another turn, you probably would have played like another Planeswalker and then play like a Glory Bringer, just like
yeah, there was some other stuff like Gassy stuff or Fanatic, whatever it is. So when the deck does its thing, it's really explosive and really good, but it's just a matter of doing the thing, as they say.
Right, exactly. So hear me out. This is what you need for a turn one play. You need Lightning Shrieker, or was that what it called? The one from Cons with Dash. Lightning Runner? What is it called again?
Lightning Berserker?
So then you're just like, Nykthos for 1 million.
That is really, really funny, actually.
No, that was like what I thought. I'm like, what's a 1 mana dude that you could just like sink all your mana into? Or Fire Drinker Savior.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, you can do something like that.
So, but I think with, at least on this side of the match, so Reckless Stormseeker and Werewolf Pack Leader, the Gruul boats, Gruul vehicles decks, they already play those in their decks. So, like, obviously, I think it was game 2 was where we saw, oh, hey, you know, Pack Leader into Stormseeker into a 4-drop, which in that case, they normally play Seeker's Chariot. But, like, we're just also playing a bunch of cards that are accidentally just werewolves. Like, Reckless Stormseeker and Werewolf Pack Leader are fantastic, which I would say that's really the only cards, for the most part, in this deck that you see in other decks outside of, like, werewolves. Yeah. Like, maybe you'll see, like, some Arlens in the sideboard, which I didn't get to play Arlen today, but I think that card is absolutely fantastic. I know, like, the flip side, you can, like, zero it to make it a 5/5 trampling indestructible haster, which
some number of crazy cards.
Yeah, and then like it's minus, it's like minus like 3 makes like 2 or 3 2/2 werewolf
I think it's
tokens or something.
2/2s.
So like we didn't get to see Arlen today, which I was a little upset about, but the card's still good. Overall, I think the Gruul deck, it kind of like, For me, this is how the way I look at it. Like, if there was like a tier list for like Gruul aggro decks in Pioneer, like S tier is like boats, and then like I would say like you could even put in like the Atarka decks if you want to count those.
Yeah.
And then like A tier would be like any deck splashing green for Coco. So like Gruul, so it'd be like Gruul Goblins if you were playing like Gruul Elves. And then like B tier or Dragons would be A. And then B tier would be like dinosaurs and whatever. I think Werewolves is like the like least FNM playable. Well, it's the worst FNM playable deck. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's like it's probably one of, if not the worst tribe you could possibly try to build in Pioneer.
Absolutely. I think I must say though, before I remembered how the Moonlight Hunter worked or whatever, 2 mana to deal all that damage is kind of insane though. Like,
yeah, the deck would really need like maybe another good 1 or 2 1-drops, and it desperately needs a 2-mana real lord that is better than Kessig Naturalist.
We'll talk about that in the last segment, but no, I completely agree. I think that card, I put it in the deck, and I liked it with Tovolar, but like, if you're not doing Tovolar, it's just a bear.
Yeah, and it seems like, you know, the mana that it produces as its front half ability just seems like almost irrelevant for the most part, because you're not playing like any 5, 6, 7 drops where you're just like, yeah, attack with these dudes, make 2 extra mana and play this big dumb thing.
When I was goldfishing, the cutest thing I ever did was like 1-drop into Naturalist and then like attack and then flash in the Ambusher. That's like the cutest thing I ever did with it, but I still don't think it also dies to like every removal spell in the format.
Yeah.
It dies to Portable Hole, it dies to Stomp, it dies to like Torch the Tower,
play with fire,
like just
Fatal Push.
Yeah, yep. It dies to literally everything. So.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you could make an argument that if you played like 4 Witchstalker Frenzy in the main, and you attacked with it and you made like that red mana or whatever to use it for that, but that seems like way too niche. It.
At that point, just play better cards.
yeah, exactly.
But anyway, so the match was interesting. You know, games 3 and 4 were weird. Like, my hands were very good, but like, you were just stumbling a little bit. You know, you didn't have the Nykthos when it like really mattered for the most part. So, I don't know. It was kind of an interesting match. But the second part we'll talk about is kind of how our decks would fare in the overall metagame. So I guess I'll let you go ahead and start with that.
I mean, if Devotion is getting beat up by Werewolf Tribal, it's probably not the greatest thing for the meta, but there are situations where, you know, if you can fine-tune the deck, maybe add in a couple of those extra removal spells, and just maybe mulligan more aggressive to do the thing, it can still be really, really explosive. You know, I never really got to show off the power of being able to, like, on turn 3, you know, playing like 2 BTEs, activate Nykthos for like 4 or 5, play a dumb thing, you know. So doing those, or having those kinds of draws are also really important with the deck. I'm sure if you went to like a larger tournament or like a small FNM, you would probably be able to squeak out some wins here or there, have some of the explosive draws. But like when it comes to like playing against Rakdos, playing against like Mono Green, which are the 2 best decks in the format right now, it doesn't make a big enough impact on the board state. Rakdos just picks apart your hand and then removes everything that makes it onto the board, and then Mono Green just absolutely doesn't care what you're doing and is probably going to combo sooner than you can.
I think like they're different kinds of Devotion decks, but I feel like Mono Green specifically, I don't want to say their cards are like better, but it's like they're playing Elves, you don't really have a good 1-drop. And then it's like, oh, I'm playing Chain Whirler, which is great against the Elves, but then they're like, oh, I'm playing Old Control, which is bigger. And if you kill it, I get value from it. And it's like, you know, they're playing like, you know, you're playing Torbrand, and they're playing like Cavalier, and it's like, it doesn't, like, I feel like the way you win that matchup is you just go, like, Devotion heavy, Fanatic you for, like, 16, and you kill them.
You would almost as certainly have to go, like, 2-drop, 3-drop with, like, a Chain Whirler into Torbrand, and hopefully have a Nykthos and be able to, like, do a couple of Fanatic shenanigans. But yeah, you would have to, like, have a really good draw and go really, really fast with it and hope they can't, like, get something stupid with Karn and mess with your board, or, you know, just play... There's been games that I've played with Mono Green at tournaments where sometimes you play 2 or 3 4/4 tramplers and just beat down with them.
Right. So at least with Gruul Werewolves in the overall metagame, so this is the way I kind of look at it. So similar to you know, like for instance, I play a lot of Gruul dinosaurs, you know, that's like my pet deck in the format. It's a very good FNM level deck. You know, you can go to FNM, have some fun, get some wins, probably win a whole thing, you know, every so often. But the deck overall is it's not as powerful as the other things you could be doing in the format. Like, yeah, you know, there's those certain situations where that one guy who really knows his deck very well, like, you know, top 8's a 1K, not to like plug myself in, but like with the Gruul dinosaurs at the RCQ that we went to, you know, it's like, you know, occasionally, you know, you get the right matchups, you play well, you can do really well with it. But overall, the deck, it's just, you know, it doesn't have as good one drops. Obviously, I think the two, like, again, it has this, if it wasn't for Stormseeker and Pack Leader, the deck would be almost unplayable.
Pretty much.
Like, it just barely has enough cards to make it work. And, you know, it's got a decent Lord, it's got decent payoffs. So you're able to scrape it together, but overall, it's just not as powerful as the other things you could do in the format. So.
Yeah, the boats, like, with how good Gruul Boats is, it's almost hard to make an argument to be like, I'm going to go to this comp IRL event and I'm going to play, you know, Gruul Werewolves or, you know, some other, like, mid-tier Gruul list when I could be playing, like, Gruul Boats or, like, a Tarka Red and things along those lines.
Right. For sure. It's definitely, you know, like, if you like playing Werewolves, though, like, play it. Like, if you want to go to FNM and play Werewolves or Mono Red Devotion, you know, do what you enjoy and just have fun playing it. You know, we're not trying to tell people, don't play this deck, believe me. I mean, like, we're playing it here, you know? Like, this is kind of like the trial run for you. So that way, if you decide, hey, I want to buy into this deck, you know, that if it looks fun, then you can go ahead and build it, you know? And this just kind of demoing, you know, the different things you could do in Pioneer. But by no means, when we play these decks, we're not trying to convince you, like, Mono Red Devotion is secretly tier 0. Like, it's nothing like that.
It's, we were actually just talking before the video started that it's having to look back at different decks that we've already done to see what we've played and play something different. Just to, like, something to where you're not just always watching some pro player play Rakdos or play Mono Green and Paper. It's just something fun. But on the note of picking up the Werewolf deck, I would like to assume that other than the mana base, it's probably a relatively cheap deck.
The deck is super cheap. I think like the Stormseekers go for about like $2 or $3 piece. I think the Pack Leaders are like $1 or $2. But like other than that, everything else is just like 50 cents, $1. Yes. I think the most expensive card is the Arlens at like $4. And I think Tolvalar is like around 3 or 4 as well. But like as a whole though, the deck is super cheap. Like if you like without like the Boseiju and like the Stomping Grounds, like if your dual lands are just like Copper Lines, the slow land, which I'm forgetting all of a sudden from Innistrad.
Yeah, the green red.
Yeah, if you get
slow land.
Yeah, if you get like that and then like Carplusian Forest, as those are your dual lands, which those are like, you know, $3 to pick up the playset of each of those. Like, you could easily build this deck for, like, under, like, $70.
For sure. Yeah, and that's another thing is where you could always, like, if you're just starting out and you really don't have a lot of Gruul cards and you have just enough to, say, build this deck, it's something that you could, like, get the cheap pieces for now and then slowly get your point to where, like, now I'm going to build on my mana base and then now I'm going to start getting cards like Azeka's Chariots, Sky Sovereigns, like, stuff like that to expand and build more decks out of what you already have.
Which also, speaking of the budget thing, I actually built a $50 Mono Red Devotion list on the channel like about a month or two ago. So if you feel like checking that out, go to the playlist. You can look for deck text, and it's definitely in there. It's got Boros Reckoner on the front of it, which Boros Reckoner, I get why it's not played in your deck, but man, I love Boros Reckoner.
It would be a lot better if I was, maybe we start playing Boros Reckoner and then we start playing Star of Extinction.
Yeah, but it's just Devotion, and then you're just like also playing Star, so you're like just wrecking the board. And 20. Actually, you know what? That's definitely a deck we should maybe try on the channel sometime. So
that sounds like a good plan.
We'll put a pin in that one. So okay, and then the last thing we got to talk about is cards that we wish were in the format. That either are reprints or a hypothetical new card that would significantly improve our deck. So I'll go ahead and let you start with that.
Unfortunately, I don't really think there's anything that this deck wants specifically. All the things that you would want with this deck are like the devotion-based cards, and there's already plenty of the devotion-based cards in the deck as we speak. It's just a matter of maybe finding different slots, maybe trying to fit a 1-drop in there, something like that. The land base is solid. You get to play Dens, you get to play Ramanap Ruins. The creature base is honestly really good with Bone Crushers and like Glory Bringers, Torbrands, the Goblin Chain Whirler. I don't necessarily think it needs any like one specific card. I think this is more a case of like, this isn't the optimal version. It just needs to be fine-tuned more and more and more. There's not really anything in my mind that sticks out. Like, if this had this card in it, it would be busted. Maybe playing like a cheeky 2/1 1-drop or something like that might push it over the edge to be a little bit better. But other than that, I'm not sure, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm trying to think too. Like, so I remember, what was it? Nylea's Disciple was the green one where you gain life. And then they made like a new one in the next Theros block. Like, maybe if they made like another Fanatic of Mogus, maybe that would like... make it a little bit better, but I don't think there's like a card that's like, we need this card. If it gets it, this deck is like fantastic. I can't really think of anything that would really like maybe if they got like a 4 mana, like if they got a red Phyrexian Obliterator of some sorts, like, how there's the white one and there's like the black one. Like, if there was like a 5, a red 5/5 with text that's relevant, like maybe that would help it a bit. I don't know though.
Yeah, I mean, maybe like honestly, that would be a really cool card to see, like that cycle get completed. But anyway, maybe a card like that, or I think honestly, if they printed just like maybe a more power crept Fanatic of Mogus, maybe like a colorless red for a 2/3 or a 2/2 that had the same text as Fanatic of Mogus.
Right.
But that might never happen because I know they really haven't done too much with Devotion in the recent past.
Right. I don't know. I don't think this would be too good, but I mean, like red 1 for a 2/1 with haste with Fanatic of Mogus text.
That seems solid.
Like, I don't hate that, like, because even if like current format, you're like Swift Spear 1, and then you're like Eidolon, or even like BTE, whatever, attack, and then 3 you're like boom, like 6 you attack. I don't know, like maybe.
Like that might, like if a card like that were printed, maybe it would push the Devotion deck to be more heavily leaning towards the aggro end versus like the mid range with all like the Chandras and the Torbrands and stuff.
Right. I think you would literally you would play like 1s, 2s, and 3s, and then like just Fanatic would be like your 4-drop. Like, you wouldn't be trying to go Glory Bringer, or you'd probably play some Torbrands, but you wouldn't go like Glory Bringer Chandra route. Like, you would just be like super low to the ground.
Oh yeah, I would definitely agree. Especially if a card like that were to be printed, I would agree.
Right. So, okay. So at least for Wolves. So, Wolves and Werewolves. So, a lot of the cards from the original Innistrad block are obviously not in Pioneer, but as a whole, not many of them are like that powerful. Like,
no.
I don't think Huntmaster of the Fells in today's world would really be that fantastic, is kind of like one example. There is a Lord that's not currently in the format. It's Immerwolf, which Immerwolf is good, but like 3 mana 2/2 Lords that just give like pretty much just +1/+1 are really not enough anymore. So I think what this deck needs, it needs a good 1-drop. So it does have 2 2/1s for 1, which is like barely enough for the most part to be playable. I know that there's other 1-drop Wolves, but they're not 2/1s. They don't have 2 power. They need to have 2 power.
Yeah.
So I think that's the first problem. It needs like a Senate Pack Leader and Kessig Prowler are essentially just like 2/1s for 1. They don't really do much other than that. They can, but they usually don't. The 2-drops are obviously, it's got Werewolf Pack Leader. It needs, if they got a 2-mana Lord, like a 2-mana Lord would be huge. Like if it was even just like a 2/2 for 2 and it gives your other wolves like 1/1, like that would be fine. Like,
this goes back to, I think, the conversation we had almost this exact conversation when I was playing the Spirits deck about how like the world of 3-mana Lords being really, really good is just not enough with how vast and fast the formats have been getting over the years. A 2-mana Lord, even if it didn't have upside, would definitely push the deck to be a lot more strong.
Or even this. 1 red-green, 4/3, gives your other wolves and werewolves haste, and then you could even give it the Kessig Wolf Run text, kind of like how Tovolar has it. I'd be kind of okay with that. Like, if in a world where you have 3-mana Lords, they have to be good. Like they can't just be 1/1 and then have like a medium text. They either have to have good stats, or it has to be like for instance, Droxel Captain. Like Hexproof is fantastic, but it's like other than that, like that's kind of what you need.
Or maybe like a colorless red-green for a 3/3. All your other wolves and werewolves you control get +1/+1 in menace.
Yeah,
something like that.
Something like that would at least make it like play.
If it's a 3-drop lord, there definitely has to be some type of like bare minimum would have to be a 3-mana 3/3. Can't be anything lower, else it wouldn't be good enough. And it has to have something other than the +1/+1. Otherwise, the 2/2 lord's just the way to go nowadays.
Right. Yeah.
Or to hope for, I should say.
Exactly. Which, I mean, Innistrad block already kind of came and gone. So I don't think we're going to Innistrad at all this next year. Which, yeah, I don't think there were any. I know there's been Innistrad remastered in like 2025, but obviously that's not going to help Pioneer's case. Maybe there's a couple. Like, what is that set called? The Bloomborough or whatever. I think there's going to be some like wolves in that set. So like maybe we actually get a wolf.
I know there was a set coming out. I think it was like the Murder at Karlov Manor.
That's Ravnica. Yeah.
Is that going to be back to Ravnica?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, fortunately not going to be Innistrad. So we might not get any good wolf cards for a minute, but we'll kind of see what happens. I mean, wolves exist on most planes, so you never know. Maybe just a random rare mythic that they make is just a wolf, and then it just will be good.
Yeah, I mean, they always like every so often like they'll come out with a set to where it's just, this one set just has like a bunch of random stuff in it, because I know they kind of got away with core sets. They don't really do that anymore, but they do still just like add random stuff in random sets. We've seen that plenty of times.
Right, exactly. So, okay, well, I think that's everything. Hunter, thank you so much for joining us on this episode here.
Absolutely.
I'm sure we'll probably see you in the next one. I don't know when it's going to be or what. Most of the time, spoiler alert also, when we're like figuring out the decks we play, we usually decide this like the day of, maybe the day before. Like, this is just like, you know what? I'm just going to play this deck. It's not like, we're not like in the lab, like brewing up this super spicy deck. I mean, we're brewing, but we're not like in the lab trying to figure out like the perfect deck to play. We're just like, yeah, I want to play Werewolves. There we go.
I mean, like, I suppose if you are going to be doing more polls for what people think you should play, I could also send, like, 3 deck list ideas to you, throw that as a poll, and be like, what 2 decks do you want to see play each other, kind of thing?
I'm going to go on a limb and probably say the next decks that we do here on Pioneer Showdown are probably going to be related to the Lost Caverns of Ixalan. I wanted to maybe find something, like proxy a spicy card to play today. But, we're still, as of the recording of this video, we're still in the middle of spoiler season. So, I don't know. We'll definitely have something for when we're either Lost Caverns is almost out or we at least have the full list.
Yeah, because I think this is, day 3 of spoilers now?
So it's Friday. So, yeah, it's day 3.
Day 3.
Yeah, so we haven't seen too many cards. But that dinosaur, though, is hot.
The dinosaur is really, really cool. If you guys have not checked out the spoilers for Lost Caverns, I would definitely recommend it. There are some pretty spicy cards, just like there is a spicy spirit that's got flying in Ward 2, and it blinks stuff.
Blinks, yeah.
So that might also be like a sneaky, cheeky little thing that we could build around maybe with like the Pioneer Plus.
So hear me out. Blue-white, Zerta as the companion, and you get Eldrazi Displacer, and you get like that, for instance.
Yeah.
We could try and come up with some like blink shenanigans or something. I don't know. We'll definitely come up with some fun things for sure. But my last thing with the spoilers is, remember how we talked about dinosaurs need a good 3-drop? We got it.
Yes.
We got it. The 6/6 for 3. So I'm really excited about that card. But anyways, I'd like to thank everybody for watching this video. This was definitely a very fun one. I feel like our discussion was really long, but honestly, everybody says they love the discussion after the match, so honestly, not even a problem.
Also, to be fair, the first 2 games probably lasted all of like 10 minutes combined, maybe less than that even. Like, I would be surprised to see both of those games combined be more than like 7 minutes in total.
It'll be like a 50-minute video, but then like 25 of it is just the match, and then the other half of it is just this. So I'd like to thank everybody for watching this video. Let me know in the comment section below, what do you think about our lists? Our list will be in the description below if you'd like to check them out for yourself as well. That's all we got here. I'm Commander Crane. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.